Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm on in Chocolate. We've got longtime fools Carl Teal and Keith Spites giving a 1 to 10 rating to a Moneyball wreck. It also sounds like a transformer. It's Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, ticker symbol REGN. Rate the strength of Regeneron's business first, including factors like industry and competition. A 10 is invincible. A 1 is hopeless. Keith's at a 7.5. Carl, you're at a 7.
Yeah, I mean, Regeneron's kind of a comeback kid. In mid-2024, I would have said that this stock was fairly valued or overvalued, but it has suffered some pretty big setbacks, and it's kind of recovering now. They have the big stories are Dupixent, which is an eczema or atopic dermatitis drug, and Eylea for macular degeneration, two of the strongest drug franchises in the world. Both are under threat. Eylea is already fighting back against biosimilars. Dupixent is still incredibly strong, and they have patent protection out to about 2031, but it's just seeing challenges from Lilly and just a ton of encroaching new approaches. It's a very, very crowded market area. But it's a big market, and they have time and a strong position, and they can kind of iron out what's called a skinny label approach to maximize opportunity.
Yeah, the issues Carl mentioned are valid. I give Regeneron a slightly higher score, though, because of the company's track record of innovation. If there's any drug maker that can overcome the challenges to Dupixent and Eylea by delivering new and improved products, I think it's Regeneron.
Right. For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett. A 1 is Homer Simpson. Keith's at a 9. Carl, you're at an 8.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have gone higher. I don't know. It's very unusual in that this is a 38-year-old company. It's $81 billion market cap or somewhere in that neighborhood. Still founder-led. Leonard Schleifer is the CEO, and George Yancopoulos is the president CSO. They've been there since the beginning. They have navigated a long startup phase. They have also navigated a commercial phase. They've gotten to this sort of top tier ranking in the industry. It's truly remarkable. The only dings on them is that they do have, I think, very rich compensation and also not a super clear succession plan. And Schleifer is 73. I think investors are going to miss him when he does eventually step down.
Yeah, everything Carl just said about management is spot on in my view. Schleifer and Yancopoulos also still have a lot of skin in the game with their significant personal stakes in the company, which is a good thing. I ding Regeneron a little less than Carl for a couple of reasons. First, the company's executive compensation is more in line with industry averages now than it used to be. And second, while I'd still like to see a more visible succession plan, as Carl mentioned, Regeneron was able to replace its longtime CFO Robert Landry back in early 2024. That went without a hitch. I think the company has a deep enough bench that it could promote from within whenever Schleifer does step down.
For financials, a 10 is a fortress, a 1 is yikes. Keith said a 9. Carl, you're a little lower again at an 8.
Yeah, I mean, so Regeneron, they run a pretty lean operation. They have lots and lots of cash coming in. They have very little debt. They hardly even have any goodwill on their balance sheet because basically the only acquisitions they do are for pocket change. So, and the balance sheet's even better than it might look at first glance because they have like $10 billion in long-term investments in addition to the sort of $8 billion-ish in cash and short-term investments. They don't do a lot of M&A. They are really focused on internal development. They're really good at it. And they are notoriously cheap about their M&A. So that's all great. But that could be a factor that maybe makes investors get a little more nervous as we get closer to 2031 and the patent expiration on Dupixent.
Again, Carl and I are basically on the same page here. I give Regeneron a slightly higher score, mainly because I love that it can self-fund R&D, and I really like that it still rewards shareholders. It makes buybacks. They have a new dividend program, so I think those are great ways to allocate capital.
All right, Keith, let's talk valuation. How well will Regeneron stock do over the next 5 years, and how safe is it? 10's a sure thing, 1's a lottery ticket.
I'm going to go 10% to 15% over the next 5 years. Dupixent should be a significant growth driver for Regeneron. The Eylea high-dose formulation is extending that franchise's life. I do expect some good results from a phase 3 study of Libtayo in combination with fianlimab. That could provide a major catalyst for the stock. As for a safety score, though, I'm going to go with a 7. There's always risk with biotech stocks, and Regeneron, despite its previous success, is no exception to that.
Yeah, I also said 10 to 15%. I think, probably at the lower end of that realistically, but I do think they're attractively priced here. I mentioned before a skinny label for Dupixent. What that means is they have a new approval in COPD. And so they can kind of carve out a market for exclusivity in that lasts beyond the atopic dermatitis label sort of getting more competition. So I think that's a nice opportunity, and I think they'll probably navigate that pretty well. And I also gave them a safety score of 7.
Thank you to both Carl and to Keith. They've given Regeneron a very strong overall score of 7.8 out of 10, just missing that 8.0. Forced me to own shares. For Toppets, Keith prefers B1 Medicines, and Carl prefers Chimera Therapeutics as a high-risk, high-reward option because it has one of the most exciting drugs in the atopic dermatitis space. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Exelixis. Till then, Fool on. Okay, I have 2 questions for you, Carl.
Uh-oh.